From our studios in the convection oven we call Scottsdale, Arizona, welcome back to Retirement News Online. So one of the most significant transitions in life occurs when you retire from work. Now it brings a lot of freedom, of course, but with that freedom comes some big changes, financial and otherwise. At the top of the list is that you'll no longer be able to rely on a paycheck or regular income stream. It's like every day is a Saturday. You'll be required to generate cash flow from a variety of sources you've already established, then make sure that that money can meet your needs for 20 to 30 years or longer. Here to chat with me about this very topic is an expert, Tim Tremblay with Tremblay Financial Services in Santa Barbara, California. You've been doing this since 1983. I bet you've seen a lot of changes happen, since then, obviously. But I'm going to start with something, a distribution idea that was back in the 90s, which I'm sure you remember. It's called the 4% rule. Basically, if you take out 4% from your investments, you're probably going to not run out of money because the market tends to perform better than that on average over a long period. Is that still valid today?
No, we talked earlier about the lost decade, 2000 to 2010. That pretty much took that 4% rule out. Beginning of that decade, we had 9/11. Then it kind of came back to where it was at the beginning of the decade, and we had the Great Recession. At the end of that 10-year period, in blue chip stocks, you're down 20%. So if you're taking 4% of that, as it declines by 20%, you're not going to be in a very good position at the end of that 10-year decade. And so it's completely changed what we refer to as the 4% rule. So you really have to have other asset classes. You can't count on the stock market or a managed account to give you the income that we were able to do before that time. And so this triad that we refer to, 3 different asset classes. We have safe money, fixed index. We have alternatives that are paying a higher yield than most of the bonds out there or some of the traditional income vehicles. And then we have the stock market. So we need all 3 of those for your client to achieve their goals. But as you move forward and you need that income, you need to have more of the money in the safe money and alternatives to give you that consistent income that's going to take care of the needs that we have outlined with your retirement budget.
And so you're talking about the lost decade, the first part of 2001, 2010, in that area. That speaks about sequence of returns risk, which is this idea that timing can affect everything, and the time you start taking income, if it happens to be in a down market, well, early on, that can really inhibit your ability to have enough money sometimes through retirement. You could have, I guess, 2 people. Same assets, same amount, same investments technically. You've got that person who started taking income in 01, and what happened? The market was down for 10 years. Then you got somebody who's grabbing the front end of a bull in 2010. They start taking income. You've got one person who runs out quickly, and this person ends up with more money than they started out with, and their income increases over time. So how do you eliminate timing as a concern when it comes to taking income?
You have to have other asset classes besides the stock and bond market. It's that simple. If you have a fixed index, you can look at the income that you're going to need and say, okay, let's take half of that portfolio that we have with a fixed index and let's put an income rider on it. Now you have guaranteed maybe 9.5% income for the rest of your life. You lose that principal, you can't rely on that, but we'll have the other half compounding, and you take free withdrawals for income or take withdrawals as you need them as a part of that income plan that you've put together. The alternatives are consistently giving better income than what we can find in the stock market. And so in using these other asset classes in addition to the stock market, you're going to have your goals and objectives met, and we've seen that over the years.
So you're an independent advisor, and for those watching, it simply means that you have access to the universe of solutions. You're not, beholden to one particular company's products or strategies or stocks or whatever. So talk about how somebody would know if they've got the right advisor, because I think there are a lot of asset managers out there kind of masquerading as planners. How would somebody know if they're talking to the right person or somebody like you?
Well, it's interesting. You look at what they can bring to the table, right? With the Triad asset allocation that we have at Tremblay Financial, you need 3 different licenses. You need an insurance license for the annuities. You need to have a Series 7 license for the alternatives. And you need to have a Series 65 managed money portfolio, a registered investment advisor for that portion of the portfolio. Most advisors don't have all those licenses. It's difficult. You have continuing education for all these things, and they say, well, I'll just handle it with my RIA business, or I'm just going to do the insurance and do the best I can with them there. And that's fine, they do the best they can, but they're limited as to what they can do for their clients. You really need to have to look at the best of these different asset classes to really do the best job you can for your client.
He's Tim Tremblay with Tremblay Financial Services in beautiful Santa Barbara, California, and thanks for watching Retirement News Online.